Good morning, sixth graders. All right, I'm just gonna jump right into it. When we left off, Percy was having a nightmare. The evil voice began to laugh. Hail, the conquering hero! I awoke with a start. Grover was shaking my shoulders. The truck stopped, he said. We think they're coming to check out the animals. Hide, Annabeth hissed. She had it easy. She just put on her magic cap and disappeared. Grover and I had to dive behind feed sacks and hope that we looked like turnips. The trailer doors creaked open. Sunlight and heat poured in. Man, one of those truckers said, waving his hand in front of his ugly nose. I wish I hauled appliances. And then he climbed inside and poured some water from a jug onto the animal's dishes. You hot, big boy? He asked the lion. Then splashed the rest of the bucket right on the lion's face. The lion roared in indignation. Yeah, the man said. Next to me, under the turnip sacks, Grover tensed. For a peace-loving herbivore, he looked downright murderous at that. The trucker threw an antelope in a squashed-looking Happy Meal bag. He smirked at the zebra. How you doing, Stripes? At least we'll be getting rid of you this stop. You like magic shows? You're gonna love this one. They're gonna saw you in half. The zebra, wild-eyed with fear, looked straight at me. There was no sound, but as clear as day, I heard him say, Free me, please. I was just too stunned to react. There was a loud knock, knock, knock on the side of the trailer, and the trucker inside with us yelled, What do you want, Eddie? A voice outside, must have been Eddie's, shouted back, Maurice, what'd you say? What are you banging for? Knock, knock, knock. Outside, Eddie yelled, What's banging? Our guy Maurice rolled his eyes and went back outside, cursing at Eddie for being such an idiot. A second later, Annabeth appeared next to me. She must have been doing the banging to get Maurice out of the trailer. She said, This transport business cannot be legal. No kidding, Grover said. He paused as if listening. The lion says these guys are animal smugglers. That's right, the zebra's voice said in my mind. We've got to free them, Grover said. And he and Annabeth looked at me, waiting for my lead. I had heard the zebra talk, but not the lion. Why? Maybe it was another learning disability. I could only understand zebras. Then I thought, horses. What Annabeth had said about Poseidon creating horses. Was a zebra close enough to a horse? Was that why I could understand it? The zebra said, Open my cage, please. I'll be fine after that. Outside, Eddie and Maurice were still yelling at each other, but I knew that they'd be coming inside to torment the animals again any minute. I grabbed Riptide and I slashed the lock off the zebra's cage. The zebra burst out. It turned to me and bowed. Thank you. Grover held up his hands and said something to the zebra in goat talk. It must have been a blessing. Just as Maurice was poking his head back inside to check out the noise, the zebra leaped over him and into the street. There was yelling and screaming and cars honking. We rushed to the doors of the trailer in time to see the zebra galloping down a wide boulevard lined with hotels and casinos and neon signs. We'd just released a zebra in downtown Las Vegas. Maurice and Eddie ran after it, with a few policemen running right after them, shouting, Hey, you need a permit for that. Now would be a good time to leave, Annabeth said. The other animals first, Grover replied. I cut the locks with my sword, and Grover raised his hands and spoke the same goat blessing that he had used for the zebra. Good luck, I told the animals, and the antelope and the lion burst out of their cages and went off together in the streets. Some tourists screamed. Most of them just backed off and took a lot of pictures, probably thinking it was some kind of stunt by one of the casinos. Do you think the animals will be okay? I asked Grover. I mean, the desert and all. Don't worry. I placed a satyr sanctuary on them. Meaning? Meaning that they'll reach the wild safely, he said. They'll find water, food, shade, and whatever they need until they find a safe place to live. Why can't you place a blessing like that on us? I asked. It only works on wild animals. So then it would only affect Percy, Annabeth reasoned. Hey, I protested. Kidding, she said. Come on, let's get out of this filthy truck. We stumbled out into the desert afternoon. It was 110 degrees, easy, and we must have looked like deep-fried vagrants, but everybody was just too interested in the wild animals to pay us any attention. We passed the Monte Carlo and the MGM Grand. We passed the pyramids, a pirate ship, and the Statue of Liberty, which was a pretty small replica, but it still made me really homesick. I wasn't sure what we were even looking for. Maybe just a place to get out of the heat for a few minutes, a sandwich, maybe a glass of lemonade, and make a new plan for going west. We must have taken a wrong turn, however, because we found ourselves at a dead end, standing in front of the Lotus Hotel and Casino. The entrance was a huge neon flower, the petals lighting up and blinking. No one was going in or out, but the glittering chrome doors were opened, spilling out air conditioning that smelled like flowers, lotus blossom, maybe. I'd never smelled one, so I wasn't really sure. The doorman smiled at us. "Hey kids, you guys look tired. You want to come in and sit down?" I had learned to be suspicious the last week or so. I figured anybody might be a monster or a god. You just couldn't tell. But this guy was normal. One look at him, and I could just tell. Besides, I was so relieved to hear somebody who sounded sympathetic to us that I nodded and I said we'd love to come inside. Inside, we took one look around, and Grover said, "Whoa." The whole lobby was a giant game room, and I'm not talking about old cheesy Pac-Man games or slot machines. There was an indoor water slide snaking around a glass elevator which went straight up at least 40 floors. There was a climbing wall on one side of the building and an indoor bungee jumping bridge. There were virtual reality suits with working laser guns and hundreds of video games, each one the size of a widescreen TV. Basically, you name it, this place had it. There were a few other kids playing, but not that many. No waiting for any of the games. There were waitresses and snack bars everywhere, serving every kind of food you could even imagine. "Hey," a bellhop said. At least I guessed he was a bellhop. He was wearing a white and yellow Hawaiian shirt with a lotus design, shorts, and flip-flops. "Welcome to the Lotus Casino. Here's your room key." I stammered. No, he said, laughing. "The bill's taken care of. No extra charges, no tips. Just go on up to the top floor, room 4001. If you need anything, like extra bubbles for the hot tub or skeet targets for the shooting range, whatever, just call the front desk. Here are your Lotus cash cards. They work in the restaurants and on all the games and all the rides." He handed us each a green plastic credit card. I knew there must be some sort of mistake. Obviously, he thought we were some sort of millionaire's kids, but I took the card and I said, "How much is on here?" His eyebrows knit together. "What do you mean?" "I mean, when does it run out of cash?" "Oh, you're making a joke. Hey, that's cool. Enjoy your stay." We took the elevator upstairs. We checked out our room. It was a suite with 3 separate bedrooms and a bar stocked with candy, soda, chips, you name it. A hotline to room service, fluffy towels, water beds, and even feather pillows. A big screen TV with satellite and even high-speed internet. The balcony had its own hot tub, and sure enough, there was a skeet shooting machine and a shotgun, so you could launch clay pigeons right out over the Las Vegas skyline and plug them with your gun. I didn't see how that could possibly be legal, but I thought it was pretty cool. The view over the strip and the desert was amazing, though I doubted we'd ever find time to even look at the view with a room like this. "Oh my goodness," Annabeth said. "This place is sweet," Grover said. "Absolutely sweet." There were clothes in the closet, and they even fit me. I frowned, thinking this was pretty strange. I threw Aries' backpack into the trash can. Wouldn't need that anymore. When we left, I could just charge a new one at the hotel store. I took a shower, which felt awesome after a week of grimy travel. I changed clothes, ate a bag of chips, drank 3 Cokes, and came out feeling better than I had in a really long time. In the back of my mind, though, some small problem just kept nagging at me. I had a dream or something. I needed to talk to my friends, but I was sure it could wait. I came out of the bedroom and found that Annabeth and Grover had also showered and changed clothes. Grover was eating potato chips to his heart's content, while Annabeth cranked up the National Geographic channel. "All those stations," I told her, "and you turn on National Geographic? Are you insane?" "It's interesting." "I feel good," Grover said. "I love this place." Without even realizing it, the wings sprouted out of his shoes and they lifted him a foot off of the ground, then back down again. "So what now?" Annabeth asked. "Sleep?" Grover and I looked at each other and grinned. We both held up our green plastic Lotus cash cards. "Playtime," I said. I couldn't remember the last time I had so much fun. I came from a pretty poor family. Our idea of a splurge was eating out at Burger King and renting a video. A 5-star Vegas hotel? Pfft, forget it. I bungee jumped the lobby 5 or 6 times. I did the water slide, I snowboarded the artificial ski slope, and played virtual reality laser tag and FBI sharpshooter. I saw Grover a few times, going from game to game. He really liked the reverse hunter thing, where the deer go out and shoot the rednecks. I saw Annabeth playing trivia games and other brainiac stuff. They had this huge 3D sim game where you build your own city and you could actually see the holographic buildings rise on the display board. I didn't think much of it, but Annabeth loved it. I'm not sure when I first realized something was wrong. Probably it was when I noticed the guy standing next to me at the VR sharpshooters. He was about 13, I guess, but his clothes were just weird. I thought he was some sort of an Elvis impersonator's son. He was wearing bell-bottom jeans and a red t-shirt with black piping, and his hair was permed and gelled like some sort of a New Jersey girl's on homecoming night. We played a game of sharpshooters together, and he was like, "Groovy, man. Been here 2 weeks, and the games keep getting better and better." Groovy? Later, while we were talking, I said something was sick, and he looked at me, startled, as if he had never heard the word used that way before. He said his name was Darren, but as soon as I started asking him questions, he got bored with me and started to go back to the computer screen. I said, "Hey, Darren? What? What year is it?" He frowned at me. "In the game?" "No, real life." He had to think about it. 1977? "No," I said, getting a little scared. "Really?" "Hey man, bad vibes, bad vibes. I got a game happening." After that, he completely ignored me. I started talking to people, and I found it wasn't easy at all. They were glued to TV screens, or the video game, or their food, or whatever. I found a guy who told me it was 1985. Another told me it was 1993. They all claimed that they had been in here a very long few days, few weeks at most. They really didn't know, and they didn't seem to care. Then it occurred to me, how long had I been here? It seemed like only a couple of hours, but was it? I tried to remember why we were here. We were going to Los Angeles. We were supposed to find the entrance to the underworld. My mother, for a scary second, I had trouble even remembering her name. Sally Jackson. I had to find her. I had to stop Hades from causing World War III. I found Annabeth still building her city. "Come on," I told her. "We have got to get out of here." No response. I shook her. "Annabeth!" She looked up annoyed. "What?" "We need to leave." "Leave? What are you talking about? I just got the tower." "This place is a trap." She didn't respond until I shook her again. "Hey, what?" "Come on, Percy, just a few more minutes." "Annabeth, there are people in here from 1977. Kids who haven't aged. You check in and you stay forever." "So?" she asked. "Can you imagine a better place?" I grabbed her wrist and I yanked her away from the game. "Hey!" she said, screaming, and she even hit me, but nobody else even bothered looking at us. They were all too busy. I made her look directly in my eyes, and I said, "Spiders. Large, hairy spiders." That jarred her. Her vision cleared up. "Oh my gods," she said. "How long have we—" "I don't know, but we need to find Grover." We went searching, and we found him still playing virtual deer hunter. "Grover!" we both shouted. He said, "Die, human, die! Silly, polluting, nasty person! Grover!" He turned the plastic gun on me and started clicking as if I were just another image from the screen. I looked at Annabeth, and together we took Grover by the arms and we dragged him away. His flying shoes sprang to life and started tugging his legs in the other direction as he shouted, "No! I just got to the new level! No!" The Lotus bellhop hurried up to us. "Well, now, are you ready for your platinum cards?" "We're leaving," I told him. Such a shame," he said, and I got the feeling that he really meant it, that we'd be breaking his heart if we went. "We just added an entire new floor full of games for platinum card members." And he held out the cards, and I really wanted one. I knew that if I took one, I'd never leave. I'd just stay here, happy forever, playing games forever, and soon I'd forget my mom and my quest and maybe my own name. I'd be playing virtual rifleman with groovy Disco Darren forever. Grover reached for the card, but Annabeth yanked back his arm and said, "No, thank you." We walked toward the door, and as we did, the smell of the food and the sounds of the games seemed to get more and more inviting. I thought about our room upstairs. We could just stay one night, sleep in a real bed for once. Then we burst through the doors of the Lotus Casino and ran down the sidewalk. It felt like afternoon, about the same time of day that we had gone into the casino, but something was wrong. The weather was completely different. It was stormy, with heat lightning flashing out in the desert. Aries' backpack was slung over my shoulder, which was odd, because I was sure I had thrown it in the trash can in room 4001, but at the moment, I just had other problems to worry about. I ran to the nearest newspaper stand, and I read the year first. Thank the gods, it was the same year as it had been when we went in, but I noticed the date, June 20th. We had been inside of the Lotus Casino for 5 days. We only had 1 day left until the summer solstice. 1 day to complete our quest. It's a good book. It's a really good book. I'm wondering while I'm reading this if any of you watched the movie and not read the book, and maybe if you're noticing some pretty big differences in that last scene that we just had. Anyway, have a great day.